I hope I cut myself shaving tomorrow. I hope it bleeds all day long. Our friends say it's darkest before the sun rises. We're pretty sure they're all wrong.
Yummy!
I hope it stays dark forever. I hope the worst isn't over. And I hope you blink before I do.
Yay, birdie!
I hope I never get sober. And I hope when you think of me years down the line, you can't find one good thing to say. And I'd hope that if I found the strength to walk out, you'd stay the hell out of my way.
Why did you marry Dad?
Oh, well. Why not?
So, interesting story. One day I was just talking with my friend Vexing Flame and he just said,
Hey, you should use your peepers to watch this Adult Swim cartoon that aired on December 13th, 2005 and ended on December 18th, 2008 called Moral Orel, created by Dinos Stamatopoulos. I got his last incorrectly and I didn't even look at the pronunciation. I'm a motherfucker.
And then he went to go do whatever. I don't remember really, and I didn't pay attention after that. Now, if I were to say that I went into the show not expecting it to get dark, then I would be lying with you, because I heard stuff about this show before watching it. But it's quite interesting, because when you first start the show, it seems to go by a rather simple formula. A good example of this would be episode 4 of season 1, Charity, where Orel is told by his dad at the beginning of the episode that wasting money is a sin, and is later told by Reverend Putty during church that it is also sinful to not give money to the poor. This results in Orel, who recently got a job, to start giving all his money to a poor guy on the street who sells him crack in return. Orel, thinking that's a sin to waste your money, ends up smoking said crack and gains a bad crack addiction, eventually causing him to get in trouble with his father and get sent to
my study.
It's just for Orel to not get in trouble for what you thought he was in trouble for him for a completely different reason.
Crack is a gateway to slang.
Yeah, it's a bit repetitive, but it's got its charm. But despite this, and despite the more comedic tone of season 1, you can't help but feel oddly unnerved. Like there's something that we're just not aware of. Something darker. And I guess even they realize that because, hey, here comes the season 1 finale.
Well, that was a mortifying sermon today.
Oh, come on. Can't we have one good night?
You know the Reverend was referring to you not wanting Shapey.
That's ridiculous. How would he even know?
Don't be an idiot. Everyone knows you didn't want him.
Yeah, well, I had my reasons. I think it's kind of strange that I don't even remember conceiving this kid.
Please, when do you ever remember?
All I do is try to forget. At least you know he's yours.
And right as the show starts to shift tone, at the center of it all is Orel's father, Clay Puppington, who among many, many things, we're mainly going to be focusing on his alcoholism as we take a look at the episode where we see Clay at his absolute worst, the season 2 finale, Nature.
Oh! Oh!
The episode begins where about every other episode ends, with Orel being in his father's study. After being sent off, he notices his dad's mounted deer head, to which his dad suggests that they should go on a father-son camping trip and go hunting. Orel, not sure if he can kill an animal, but wanting to hang out with his dad, either way, decides to go. His dad even shows off his gun collection, which actually gives us a pretty funny line.
I never noticed all this before.
Yeah, they sort of blend into the woodwork.
The next day comes when they're about to go on their hunting trip, and Clay decides that it's safe that they get rid of anything that is not required for this trip, as they want to actually experience living outside. So he ends up throwing all of Orel's stuff away, including a first aid kit. On their way to the hunting site, we get the first little bit of foreshadowing of the fact that Clay is only really there just to make Orel a ruthless animal killer when he doesn't even feel like talking to his own son, and instead just listens to the radio the entire way there without ever talking to Orel. The father and son finally make it to the hunting ground, in which we immediately notice that Clay brought a bunch of alcohol after stating that they weren't going to be bringing anything that wasn't necessary. Clay starts doing what he does best and starts drinking it and decides that now's the time to go on their first bit of hunting. Orel, being the pacifist that he is, doesn't want to kill any animals, no matter how much his dad tells him it's okay to do it, to which Clay starts to heavily drink every time that Orel fails to kill an animal. Eventually, when facing a deer, Clay lets both the frustration and alcohol finally get to him and kills the deer in front of his son. And then, to make matters worse, while still drunk, Clay then proceeds to shoot a man's dog, mistaking it for a rabbit. Now, I think it's worth pointing out the obvious here. Yes, Clay is a very heavy alcoholic. I don't think there's a single episode in the first 2 seasons where he doesn't have some form of liquor on him. And the interesting thing about it is that the only person you ever see really call him out for his alcoholism is his wife. Throughout the first 2 seasons, Orel never really paid any mind to it. I guess he just always assumed that it was normal. So in this episode, we finally see Orel himself starting to get uncomfortable with his dad's heavy drinking, starting a major change for the character. After asking if he could have any food, not wanting to eat the dog, Clay makes it clear to Orel that they didn't bring any other food, and that if Orel wants to eat something, he's gonna have to go kill something himself. And at first, Orel seems like he's actually going to oblige this, until eventually feeling the need to finally call out his dad, which leads to this.
I think you might be too drunk.
Let me tell you something, Orel. Drunk is nature.
I'm not really comfortable hunting with you right now.
You're not comfortable hunting with me? Have you ever tried hunting with you? I gotta tell you, Orel. Your cup is always half empty. Now look at me. You should be more like your old man and look on the blight side of life.
Blight?
I didn't say bright. I said blight. My life is sunny and blight. Bright means the opposite. It means sudden withering death. And that's not... Oh, who am I kidding? My life is full of bright.
You mean blight?
Oh, God.
What's the matter?
I hate myself. Why do you quit working on me? She always fools me, Orel. I'll make things better, dear. Drink me. Put me inside you. I'm great. And she chokes me just like every other whore out there. They're all worthless, kid. Every woman. Don't let them get you. All of them want to get you. They just grab you and pull you into them. And then you're forced to stay in and pull out, stay in and pull out. And then they got you and they grip you right where it counts. And then they start squeezing things out. Things that are like weights around your head. You sit there for the rest of your life with nowhere to go and no one to be.
And that's how part 1 ends. This scene always stuck out to me for the main reason being that this is one of the first times that we actually get a more extensive look into the implied depression that Clay is constantly seen with. It also gives us a bit more explanation for his constant drinking, with the implications that it's simply a means of him trying to escape this self-hatred he always suffers. Now, I definitely want to go more into why he hates himself, but that's more of a question answered in Season 3, and I'm not going to be going into Season 3 with this video, because I think that's truly something you should witness for yourself. I will say regarding Season 3 and what it reveals about Clay that it's a lot to unpack. Part 2 then starts, and we already get a good sign of what to come when Orel doesn't even wave at God at the end of the intro like he always does. Great! But yeah, it's revealed that Orel actually didn't shoot Clay and instead shot the last 2 bottles of liquor Clay had, which you'd think would make things better because now it means Clay can't drink, but it doesn't. It instead results in Clay doing the absolute worst thing he's ever done in the show.
Dad, watch out!
Please, Orel, I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, but you might shoot it off by mistake.
There aren't any mistakes either. No mistakes, no accidents, no flub-ups, no boners.
But
Don't butt me!
Yep, Clay shoots his own son in the leg. And to make things worse, he proceeds to then joke about it with his son. And after Orel asks for Clay to get help, he ends up revealing that he took a first aid kit despite Clay saying they weren't gonna bring one, already making Clay angry when he really shouldn't be. And then Clay, to make things worse, pulls out the rubbing alcohol so he can use it on Orel and does this.
Whoops.
I hate you.
Hate away, sister. Hate away.
Throughout this show, Orel always saw Clay as a role model in his life, so for him to finally say those 3 words to him changes absolutely everything. Oh, and then a bear walks in on their camp and Orel has to kill it. After waiting for a very long time, Clay finally gets up and Orel points out that he shot him, to which Clay, of course, says, well, I don't remember it, so it's clearly not my fault. And then notices the bear, to which Orel, in one of my favorite moments in this entire episode, after getting asked if he killed the bear, decides to lie and say that Clay did it because Orel does not even want Clay's happiness at this point. He just wants to go home.
No, Dad. You killed it.
Huh. I did? Okay, let's pack up and get you to Dr. Potter's wheel. He's perfect when it comes to keeping his mouth shut and just doing his job.
Orel finally manages to get home, and after his mother decides to try and comfort him, we are left with one horrifying final line.
But why did you marry Dad?
Oh, well. Why not?
Well, it's just that when he drinks, he changes.
Oh, he doesn't change, Orel. That's just his true nature coming out.
I am drowning. There is no sign of land. You are coming down with me, hand in unlovable hand, and I hope you die. I hope we both die.